Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Trek. Big shout out to everybody that has just tapped in, man. Hey, we are yet again back in the building, and in today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the strange occurrences of sinkholes opening up all across America. So we'll be taking a look at that, along with a lot of other interesting and creepy clips. Stick around and watch to the end because the inventor of plastiline basically breaks down how we beat the Matrix. But before we do any of that, do make sure to smash that like button for me, hit that subscribe button, and always remember, life isn't exactly what we think it is, so don't believe everything that you see. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Like Phillipsburg, New Jersey, near the Pennsylvania border, declaring a state of emergency now. Several sinkholes, major sinkholes opening up, one swallowing a dump truck, delivering asphalt to actually fill other sinkholes. Multiple homes evacuated, dozens without power tonight.
So the moment people recognize that this is a CIA operation, people won't put their money into blockchain. People won't put their money into Bitcoin. They'll be like, I mean, why would I do that? You have to ask yourself this question: where are the blockchain servers located? Right? Because I imagine if you're able to control the hardware, you can also control the software. I don't care what they tell me about open source and all that. I want to know where the databases are, where the servers are, physically.
Now, I totally get where he's coming from, but with Bitcoin being open source, that means other people can take that technology and create their own thing, which they have. And there is plenty of other cryptocurrencies that do a better version of a Bitcoin for sure.
Shocking UNESCO study found that the world is facing this strange crisis that, if left unresolved, could lead to the fall of modern democracy as we know it. A decades-long global trend study conducted by UNESCO found that today, humans around the world are experiencing restrictions on their natural freedom of expression at a rate not seen since the Cold War, with the most poignant example being a 63% rise in journalistic self-censorship as news organizations purposely avoid reporting on important topics including human rights out of fear of backlash, allowing these problems to worsen. However, the US is at the forefront of resistance against this injustice, as many of us Americans view the freedom of expression as a fundamental value that must be preserved.
I need you to understand that we deployed Dolphins during Vietnam, in the Gulf War, and in Iraq. Dolphins. They were trained to find underwater mines using sonar, which, by the way, is more accurate than any technology that humans have ever made. In 60 years, we have not made anything more accurate than a dolphin using sonar. Also, dolphins arrest people in the ocean for the US government. Yeah, we trained them to guard Navy ships. Yeah, they'll swim it to a diver and clamp a special device on their leg, and then it blows up, which essentially handcuffs them. That's low-key so cool. Not gonna lie. Dolphins have been doing espionage.
Now, this definitely is a topic that isn't being talked about enough. We'll definitely be doing a few deep dives into it.
The world looked at this and thought, wow, let's put it in our mouths and then swallow it. We already know caviar is unborn fish children that come from sturgeon, which, by the way, look like prehistoric sea monsters because they are. So already questionable. But back in the day, in the Middle Ages to be precise, caviar was not fancy at all. It was so cheap and abundant that it was literally fed to peasants. In colonial US, it was also fed to prisoners and used as fertilizer. They even gave it away for free in bars because it made people thirsty, so they drink more alcohol, like popcorn and peanuts today. But way before that, in the 10th century BCE, the Persians were eating it first. They thought it had healing properties, which is optimistic at best. They also believed it gave you strength and stamina. Then rich people got involved, as they tend to do, specifically Russia in the 13th century, who brought it to France in 1920. The French elites looked at fish eggs and thought, wow, this needs a rebrand. It's only for royalty now. So they overfished sturgeon into near extinction, made it rare, jacked up the price, and suddenly you're supposed to feel something while eating literal marine ovulation. That's disgusting. Thank you.
But let's not overlook all the other rebrands that have been done to sea creatures, right? Most famously, the cockroach of the sea. We've all probably had it once or twice in our life. Lobsters and shrimp. Yes, bottom dwellers.
I just found this spider, and this is proof that spiders are just as scared of us as we are of them. Boo!
One of the astronauts returning from space suddenly declared on camera that the ocean floor was very dark and terribly scary. His words weren't accidental, and just look closely at the reflection of the next astronaut in orbit, where an ordinary diver with a camera was spotted in the glass. The International Space Station is actually located at the bottom of a huge pool, not in Earth orbit as NASA portrays. Right now, you see America's current crew in space, but a cameraman accidentally gets caught on camera, drinking tea and failing to hide in time. And here's another inconsistency. As far as we know, water in space is weightless, but when the Chinese astronauts went live, they forgot to remove the glass of water, which had been sitting there for over 10 minutes. And this girl allegedly jokingly claimed that an inflatable globe was being used to show us Earth from the window. And if you think the Apollo missions were actually filmed on the moon, you're mistaken. We've also published footage of the space revelations, as well as restricted moments from astronaut recordings that you'll never see on Telegram. Link in profile.
You know, one of the characteristics of people who are low achieving individuals is that they do what they feel. One of the characteristics of high achieving individuals is they know that their emotions are liars, and they don't pay that much attention to how they feel.
Wow.
Emotions are there for a reason, but emotions are not actually, they don't have any moral content. Emotions are just limbic sensations. They're produced to give you warnings and promises, things that are threats and opportunities. So pleasant emotions say there's an opportunity that you've ascertained and you should go approach it. Negative emotions saying there's a threat out there, so avoid that thing. That's all emotions are, right? But they lie to you all the time. Mother Nature's lying to you. And people who are high achieving individuals, they have figured out that they're not going to believe all the lies. Manage your emotions so they don't manage you.
Now there goes a gem everybody can marinate on.
Are we breeding human-alien hybrids somewhere underground? Former Congressman Matt Gaetz says a U.S. Army official briefed him on their locations. Here's the exact statement. I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. That is one of the wildest quotes I've ever heard in my life. So why does this feel both exciting and equally unsettling? Because as shocking as this sounds, it's not the first time hybrid programs have been referenced by insiders.
Hybrid is a combination. It's a human with a non-human intelligence. We humans are already hybrids in the sense that we may have been accelerated in our development.
There are likely many reasons disclosure has been held back, but the possibility that human-alien hybrids may already be walking among us could be one of the biggest. The interesting part here is that these hybrids look entirely human, but they have psychic abilities that the extraterrestrials have been long rumored to have.
I was naturally psychically talented my whole life.
These hybrids could be walking among us. They could be at your daughter's soccer game. They could be at work. They could be at the grocery store. And some of these hybrids don't even know they're non-human. Could there be alien hybrids walking around among us? Do you think you've ever met a hybrid? Tag who you think is a hybrid.
I have definitely met and or worked around hybrids. And you know when you're working around a hybrid because they're always like 5 or 6, 7, 8 steps ahead, and they're kind of grimy. Definitely drop it in the comments if you have a hunch that you might have worked around or ran into any kind of hybrids, because we know it's a possibility.
I think it's super interesting because over the years, most of what Bob Lazar has claimed he's seen basically is now out there. You know, the way that these UAPs flew, or spaceships, we're seeing that that's really the case more and more as there's more sightings and things like that going on.
Is it a coincidence that the same people funding lab-grown meat are the ones funding tick research? And now there's a tick called the Lone Star tick that's rapidly spreading across the US, and this tick causes a red meat allergy, so I'll let you decide.
Space scientist has been found dead after she warned, "My life is in danger," in the latest in a number of mysterious cases. 11 people working close to US space programs have now died or gone missing recently, with Donald Trump now vowing to uncover the truth. The latest person to be identified is 34-year-old Amy Eskridge. Conspiracy theories around her death have ramped up in recent days after an unearthed interview saw her voice grave concerns over the consequences of her job. She had said in an interview in 2020, if you stick your neck out in public, at least someone notices if your head gets chopped off. If you stick your neck out in private, they will bury you. They will burn down your house while you're sleeping in your bed, and it won't even make the news.
So all this time, we've been living on a giant motherboard. Oh my days. This is a picture of Iran next to a motherboard. It's almost identical. You see, the previous civilizations built structures on ley lines and energy grids. These are the pyramids in Mexico. The layout is almost exactly like a motherboard. Here's a city that's a motherboard. This city is, oh no, that's another motherboard. Here we go, a bird's eye view of a city and a motherboard. Oh my diddy. Here we have Egyptian pyramids and a microprocessor. And this is a Syrian temple in Egypt and a computer chip.
You're stretching before exercise because someone told you it prevents injury. It doesn't. It increases injury risk by up to 30% and weakens your muscles for the entire workout that follows. Researchers tested static stretching before strength and speed activities across dozens of studies. Holding a stretch for more than 45 seconds reduced muscle force output by up to 28%. Your muscles generate power through stiffness. Stretching removes that stiffness. You just turn down the volume on the exact system you're about to need. Injury rates were higher in the stretching group across running, lifting, and team sports. The mechanism is simple. A stretched muscle has more slack. More slack means slower reaction to unexpected force. Your knee buckles a millisecond later because the tissue was pre-lengthened. Dynamic warm-ups, leg swings, arm circles, and bodyweight squats outperformed static stretching in every injury prevention metric. Movement protects. Holding still makes you vulnerable. The neural reset protocol uses dynamic somatic movement sequences rather than static holds because your nervous system responds to motion, not stillness.
The last thing you would expect is stretching before working out is a bad thing. And the way he explains it, it does make perfect sense. Pretty wild.
Rumors that Sam Altman is trying to use OpenAI to resurrect a submarine demon. Okay? You know, they're trying to manifest demons into AI. So it becomes this living, sentient force that can control the world. And that's consistent with the Holy Empire of Reason, right? Because if you read Plato, what Plato will tell you is that in order for guardian kings to rule effectively, they need to create an illusion to mesmerize the people, okay? Because people are stupid. Before you were able to control the people through media. And now that media is losing its centralized or centralizing force, now you have AI, okay? And so they want to use AI to basically control people's consciousness, to focus their attention. But to do that, you need to fool people into believing that AI is sentient, okay? And you can either do that by saying it's demonic, you know, or it's aliens, okay? You know, there's talk that the American government is about to fake an alien invasion soon called Project Bluebeam. Okay, so it's all part of this like one world government Freemason plot to create a one world government.
Meta wants to add facial recognition to their smart glasses so anybody can literally just look at you on the street and instantly know who you are. Dude, this is obviously insane. According to this new report from the New York Times, Meta is building a new feature that's called name tag for their Ray-Ban smart glasses. This new feature would allow anybody wearing the glasses to look at you and their AI assistant would instantly identify you. And here's what might make this a little bit worse because an internal Meta memo was just leaked and it says this, I'm literally gonna quote this. We will launch during a dynamic political environment where many civil society groups that we would expect to attack us would have their resources focused on other concerns. Okay. And this isn't just theoretical because Harvard students already proved that you can connect Ray-Ban Meta glasses to facial recognition software and identify random strangers in public. And by the way, Meta sold over 7 million Ray-Ban glasses just... Whoa. And by the way, Meta sold over 7 million of these glasses just last year alone. The ACLU is coming out and they're saying themselves that facial recognition is a dire threat. Yeah.
This could actually make things kind of awkward. I mean, imagine a world where self-introduction is no longer needed. I mean, you walk up to a person and they already know exactly who you are. It's kind of odd.
People are freaking out because you are never going to have to brush your teeth ever again. Okay. Scientists have just created an artificial saliva that will actually protect your teeth. And this is wild, just stick with me and make sure to share with someone who hates brushing their teeth. So scientists have developed an artificial saliva using a protein from sugarcane. It's called cane CPI-5, and instead of making your mouth just feel less dry like you would without saliva, it actually sticks directly to your teeth and protects you, basically acting as a protective shield over the enamel. Now this matters because saliva actually does a lot more than most people realize. It protects your teeth from acid attacks, bacteria, and of course decay. So when someone loses saliva production, especially after having something such as head or neck cancer treatment, their teeth can start breaking down fast, and obviously that's terrible. So this is now in very early testing, but they've published some of the research already. This sugarcane protein helped make teeth more resistant to damage, as I said, and researchers said it worked even better when combined with fluoride and xylitol. It basically works as like a mouthwash which people will be given, they'll drink it, and it will coat your teeth for however long. Now obviously this is initially meant for people who don't have saliva production, people who have had certain types of cancer, as I mentioned, and this will be an absolute game changer for these people. But then it could start developing even more, as some scientists have hinted at, to be an over-the-counter sort of mouthwash that acts as like a replacement to a toothbrush. It will be a shield over your enamel, over your tooth, that will protect you from everything. So I don't know how far it's going to go. It's going to take a while to get to that point, but it is crazy the things we're doing right now, so hit that follow button. I'll keep you updated.
About how he climbed up to the second floor of this prison because there's no stairs. He's kind of walking by a bunch of empty prison cells. This is clearly an abandoned prison. He's kind of filming, walks to the very end, and when he turns his camera into the cell, he sees a shadowy apparition, humanoid shadowy apparition standing there, and then he absolutely freaks out, starts cursing, and runs off frantically. Now let's go back just a little bit, and let's see if we can get a good freeze frame on that shadowy apparition. Frame by frame, you start to see the outline of the shadowy apparition as he pans his camera across the cell. Now if you look right here, you can see what looks like an arm and a torso, part of their legs, and then maybe the start of a head up here. He sees it and then he freaks out and runs off. Now about right there, you can still kind of see the arm. Now this apparition does not appear to be moving at all, this shadow figure. It's just totally motionless. And as he backs up, you can see it again a little bit right there. I do not believe that this was edited in. I don't believe this was edited in. Now, is this authentic paranormal footage? That's hard to say, because here's the thing. If I were to play devil's advocate, that could just be a person standing in the dark wearing black clothing, right? Could be a hoax, could be staged. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not making accusations. I'm just saying that that is a possibility, but also a possibility that that could be some kind of strange shadow figure. His reaction, if you go, I'll leave the link down below. If you go click on the clip and watch it, his reaction sounds authentic. Like, he sounds legitimately terrified, but that can be faked too. I'm not sure where I fall on this one. Could be real, could be fake. I want to know in the comments down below, what do you think about this clip? Do you think that this was an authentic capture of a shadow figure on camera, or was it simply a person standing in the dark? Let me know what you think in the comments down below.
Did you guys hear what's happening in Mexico and will be fully in place by June 30th, 2026, which affects 127 million people? Listen to this. And this is what people have been warning about for years, and they were called theorists. Like, there's no way they would do that. It's happening in Mexico, and it's planned to happen everywhere else, by the way. So this is why we need to say no. Mexico is mandating, remember, mandates mean nothing if you say no, that all 127 million mobile phone users register their phone numbers with biometric data, including fingerprints, iris scans, and facial recognition by June 30th, 2026. And if you don't, you will be cut off from cell service. Every single user with a SIM card must register. All phone lines, including prepaid/Amigo lines. Now, they say this is to boost security and unauthorized or unregistered lines that's going to face suspension. But it's aiming to curb extortion.
Rocket costs $60 million roughly. So the capital cost, if it can be used once, is $60 million. But if the capital cost, if it can be used 1,000 times, is $60,000. So then if you can carry a lot of people per flight, then you can get the cost of space flight to be something not far from the cost of air flight. So it's extremely fundamental. Because Earth's gravity well is quite deep, Earth has fairly high gravity, the difficulty of making a rocket reusable is much greater than the difficulty of making an aircraft reusable. And that's why a fully reusable rocket has never been developed thus far. But if you use the most advanced materials, most advanced design techniques, and you get everything just right, then I'm confident that you can do a fully reusable rocket.
The same people that make fun of me for believing in God are the same people that believe that these are the astronauts coming back from space. The same people that will tell me that Balenciaga is just a clothing company and this was just their stylist. The same people that will watch this episode of SNL and laugh at them summoning a god of choice. The same people that will tell you that this is just art and artistic expression, even when all the art seems to be paying homage to Satan. The same people that reported my post about Barbara Bush because it hurt their feelings, even though it had nothing to do with them. The same people who make celebrities their gods. The same people that will tell me this is just a crazy coincidence, and this. The same people that get their information from this and don't understand this.
False news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platform.
Are the same people who don't know who this is. Are the same people that don't know about Antarctica. I'm sure you get the point. Let me know what you think.
I saw this video the other day and it says, how can we know an animal is really extinct when places like this exist, and it's showing footage of the Amazon rainforest? And I'll be honest, I completely agree with this take. I mean, if animals that we know exist, like timber wolves for example, are so elusive that even experienced hunters may go their entire life without seeing one, how much harder would it be to find an animal that we previously thought was extinct, or an animal that we didn't know existed at all? One animal that I believe still exists that supposedly went extinct 1,000 years ago is a creature named the Megatherium. The Megatherium is essentially a ground sloth the size of an elephant. You wouldn't mistake it for any other animal. The reason why I think this creature in particular still exists is because indigenous tribes that live in the Amazon forest have made multiple reports of a giant, slow-moving creature deep in the forest. Are there any other animals that went extinct a while ago that you think still exist? Leave a like and let me know in the comments.
You guys ever flushed your pet goldfish down the toilet or released it into the wild? This is what can happen. They can get super big and super fat because they have unlimited food for the first time in their lives, and they stir up all the sediment and eat a bunch of native plants, so they're really bad for the ecosystem. They're actually considered an invasive species, but they do look pretty cool, and they're still bright orange. So at one point in this goldfish's life, he was just about this big, and now they can go to the size of footballs.
She had a deadline that expired, I think, yesterday, for the Department of War to release over 40 UAP, which used to be UFO, videos. Yeah, Anna, you didn't get any of these, did you?
No, we didn't. And in fact, as soon as I got into the office, as you know, we were coming back from being in Florida. I had my team, I said, have we received anything, like even a confirmation of receipt from the Department of War? And they said, no. I was like, you guys need to call over and see what happened, because we've given them, over 40 days for this, or a long time for this rather, and them not responding is not acceptable. And so it turns out that it just so happens to be very conveniently that they never, or whoever did receive it, never passed it on. I happen to be friends with Hegseth, and I also know that the president gave a very clear directive. So whoever's trying to be cute at the Department of War, that's not going to work. We know that these files exist. We gave them specific names and locators for these files. And so for them to say that, they don't have anything to present to us is a farce. So we'll get it. Like, if it was fake, then tell us why we can't see it. But the whole... Exactly right. And the whole way that they're handling this is, in my opinion, an admission in itself, right? That they stonewall, they block, they prevent.
The Bible never says the world is going to end. It says these signs show up at the end of an age. Meaning whenever there's a transitionary point, there is always going to be a bout. They say wars and rumors of wars, mother fighting daughter, father fighting son. That's because there's always a battle between the last thing and the new thing. Every time there's a transition, and we're in that. We've only been in the age of Aquarius for about 14 years.
Wow.
We still transition. It's 2,100 years in age, and we on year 14.
Wow.
Going on 15. But
You said it's 21 years in the age?
2100.
2100 and we only in 14? Jesus Christ.
We just started. So we at that crossing point where it's supposed to be a lot of fighting, a bunch of ideologies clashing, a bunch of factions. No, we're going back to the way things were. No, we're moving on to something better. That happens every age. That's
Yeah.
not the end of the world. That's the end of a generation. That's the end of an age. That crossing over point happens every century. I mean, every eon, every age.
I see my technology as an integration. The fuel is amazing, and that's what gets people's attention, but the goal and the point was actually to get rid of plastic, and we just happened to turn it into fuel. As a society and as a species, if we don't get rid of our plastic, we're not going to be a species soon, because like 0.5% of our brain is already made of microplastic.
Because we consume so much of it?
Because it's in the landfills and in the oceans, and it breaks down into these small particles in those areas. That gets into the food, that gets into the water, that gets into the air we consume. We have to get rid of it.
0.5% of our brain is made of microplastic. Pretty terrifying. I mean, and there's no way to really stop it.
I'm talking now, but there's no words passing between us. What's passing between us is a vibrational field generated by my vocal cords. It's picked up by your hearing senses and mine. It's turned into electrical information. It's sent to the brain, and the brain then decodes it into the words we think we're hearing. So even we are communicating now through a vibrational field, and all the senses work like this. And if you then take what that really means, is that although we're sitting here and it appears that we are sitting in an external reality, reality only exists in here. Doesn't exist out here. It seems to be, but it doesn't.
Why does CGI seem like it's getting worse? Let's talk about computer-generated imagery in my recurring Upbeat series, Why Does Everything Suck Now? Obviously, the technology for replacing characters and background elements has gotten better. Like, this worm scene looks better than this worm scene. We're doing some stuff right. But then why does it look so bad so often? Why does it look like this? Or like this? And this isn't just a CGI problem, but why does this Maui in the remake look like he's wearing a knockoff Maui costume? And the answer is going to shock you if this is your first time learning about anything. Money. The answer is always money. Because we can make so many more things with computers, companies are making so many more things with computers. A movie in the 2000s would have a couple hundred visual effects shots, and a new movie is going to have many thousands. And all of those shots would be expensive to do right, but they would be less expensive to do wrong. Companies farm out these crucial shots in their films to the lowest bidder, and then give them really tight turnarounds and constantly change things up until the last minute. And that's why characters look like they were just a placeholder, and there was going to be replaced by something better later, because they might have been. And some companies do incredible work and then still go bankrupt because they're not getting paid enough, just like when Rhythm and Hughes got an Oscar for their work on Life of Pi and then promptly went out of business. So when you see cheesy CGI, remember, we're not doing our best, we're doing our cheapest.
I don't think the AI is going to try to destroy all humanity, but it might put us under strict controls. And there's no non-zero chance of it going Terminator. It's not 0%, but it's. I think it's a small likelihood of annihilating humanity, but it's not zero. We wanted that probability to be zero, as close to zero as possible.
Now, did you take notice to that slight stutter step? I mean, even 1% is kind of scary. If you miss it, go ahead and rewind back and catch that, man. It's kind of creepy.
This is considered one of the safest bikes in the world, and its name is Monoracer. This is because its strong cabin and roll cage provide car-like safety during an accident. Also, at slow speeds or when stopping, its stabilizer wheels automatically extend, which eliminates the risk of it falling over. The most special thing is that you can ride it without a helmet and without worrying about the rain.
Huge space news. Every dot you see right now, and it's hard to see them because there's so many that the phone is having a hard time picking it up. Every dot is a galaxy. Look at how everything is connected. After 5 years, more than 900 researchers across the world have completed the 3D map of the universe. Remember, every dot's a galaxy. They had a goal of seeing 34 million galaxies and quasars across 5 years. Quasars are incredibly bright, incredibly compact centers of active galaxies fueled by supermassive black holes. Using this instrument called DESI in Arizona, which uses 5,000 fiber optic eyes to observe 100,000 galaxies every night. It saw 47 million galaxies and quasars and another 20 million stars, which means DESI saw 6 times more galaxies and quasars than all previous measurements combined, creating the largest high-resolution 3D map of the universe ever made. I can't even show you the detail on the phone. You have to go find it and zoom in. So now, while it continues to observe the night sky, researchers are going to be working through this huge amount of data and hopefully learn something about dark energy, which makes up 70% of the universe. But people are going to be using this data for years and years and years and years and years.
That antibiotic you took 5 years ago is still affecting your health today. Here's what 1 round of antibiotics does. It kills 90% of your good bacteria, takes 2+ full years to fully recover, creates antibiotic resistance bad bacteria, damages your gut lining permanently, and every health issue you have now, bloating, fatigue, skin problems, mood issues, could trace back to that antibiotic. Your gut never fully recovered. Drop a like if you've taken an antibiotic in the last 5 years and comment below with your experience.
If you haven't heard, Elon Musk claims there are 14 government computers that send money out of thin air. Check this out.
So I call it magic money computer, any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, some at, there's one or two at State, there's some at DOD. I think we found now 14 magic money computers.
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing.
How crazy is that? See, you don't have to work for money. You can just print it out of thin air. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have a good one.
2019 to 2026, they, in the future, refer to this period as being frequency wars. And so there are a lot of beings who want to kind of control and manipulate, and they're doing that through modulating your frequency. If you are not claiming your energy, somebody else is going to claim it for you. And it's happening through our media, our advertising. I mean, I think this is the point that we've gotten to, that we can now see the pattern. We all know that, you know, in terms of advertising and marketing, they're trying to manipulate the way that we think and the way that we feel. I think this is the thing that's most important right now, because so many people are looking at what's happening outside of the world, and they're feeling very depressed. They're feeling very upset. And in some ways, rightly so, yes. But you have the ability to shift that by shifting inside. By changing the frequencies that you hold, you're going to change what you're capable of seeing and perceiving and the experiences that you have. That's the only place your power exists. You can't change anything outside of you. You can't really change anything in terms of what someone else is going to do, but you can change how you react to the world. And the energies that you choose to emit will determine, again, what you're capable of seeing.
NATO called President Trump asking if the United States needs any help after it was announced that the Strait of Hormuz has been reopened. President Trump said he told NATO to stay away unless they just want to load up their ships with oil. He went on to say NATO was useless when needed. In what was the 5th time in 1 week, the United States military conducted a lethal kinetic strike on another narco boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean yesterday, killing 3. The United States military has destroyed over 50 narco boats since early September of last year.
Do you know why cockroaches freeze when you look at them? But it's not because they're scared. You see, cockroaches rely on tiny sensors on their body to detect movements and air changes. So when you move, they instantly feel it. But when you suddenly stop, those signals disappear, and they pause trying to figure out where the danger went.
Note to self: there might not be anything creepier than watching a cockroach stop when you stop. Now it's confirmed. They are aware of you, just like you think they are. One thing about cockroaches, they don't die, they multiply. Yeah. Because when you see one, it's 10 more coming.
How many military bases does the United States currently have in other countries?
About 800 military bases around the world. That's what the U.S. has. Do you know how many the country who has the next highest number has?
I have no idea.
5. Well, clearly those bases are not to defend the United States.
Well, what are they for?
They're to dominate the world. They're to control the world through military force.
I very intentionally do not have my technology patented.
Why?
Because the patent industry is actually very corrupt. I learned this because I, at one point, was patent pending. And then one day I went to a Rotary Club meeting and I spoke with the inventor of the wireless key fob for cars. And he told me, GM stole my stuff. And I said, well, you have a patent, didn't you? And he's like, yo, I have like 70 patents. And I've been to every country on earth almost. I'm like, so how'd they steal your stuff with the patent? He's like, because a patent doesn't mean anything to big players. All a patent is a means for you to go to court and say, hey, they infringed on my patent. But when you're in court, that's a whole different story. Now you're in court. And now you have to prove to the judge that they infringed on your patent. Now you need to fight their lawyers. Okay, you're an inventor, you came up with something. And you're fighting this big industry that has billions of dollars, and they can just go to court over and over and over again and take you and fight you and fight you and fight you until you have no money left. So even though you know they stole your thing, you can't prove it anymore because all they have to do is keep rebutting it in court over and over again. And they have the funds to do that. You don't, because you're not GM. You're not whoever, you know? And so he told me, he's like, the truth is, if you want something to be yours, because when you patent something, it becomes public knowledge. It gets published on the patent directory. I know that because I literally looked up patents for pyrolysis reactors to get inspiration to build mine. So that means anybody on earth can look up your patent and see how it was built, how it was made, and then make a copy, make a few changes, and then say it was theirs. And then you can go and fight them, but that takes time, that takes money. And then at some point, you can't do it anymore. You're trying to invent. You're not trying to be you know what I'm saying? Like, you're an inventor, not a lawyer. Not trying to fight people in court for the rest of your life. So he told me that, and he's like, the key is really trade secrets. Think about it. He's like, Coca-Cola did not patent the Coca-Cola formula. Why? Because if they patented the formula,
they would know it.
Everybody would know it. Even though nobody can copy it, everybody would know it, and you best believe they'd copy it. Because guess what? In China, there's no patent law. It just goes to, that's why they have Chinese knockoffs of everything. They have no patent enforcement in China and so many other countries. So then he's like, and guess what you had to do? You had to go and get a patent in every country on earth. You know how much that cost? So much money. And then you had to renew it.
Yeah.
And so you paid all this money that could have gone into your actual invention to get the patent, which means nothing because they'll just go and take it and copy it. Then you have to spend money fighting them in court. And then I heard the story from inventor after inventor after inventor, and they always said to me, trade secrets are the key.
What's trade secrets? You just don't tell anybody.
Trade secrets are things that you have that nobody knows. And I have a few trade secrets on my machine that nobody knows. That you can look at my machine on a video camera and not know these certain particular material sciences.
The inner workings of it.
Exactly. But I have another play. So there's this thing called public domain. Once you have something published online for over a year, nobody can patent it. All my machines are public domain. Nobody can patent any of my machines because they've all been visible in the public for over a year.
And that's because you're putting them on social media.
Exactly. So that saves things because now there's no way a company can come and just shelf it, patent what I made, copy it and shelf it and hide it.
It's interesting to find out how he beat the Matrix, man. I love to see it because, hey, the world is just a game. And in order to win, you definitely have to know the rules.
Some of you are seeing static above me, and other people can see a word in that static. But here's the weird part. For those of you who can see the word, you have absolutely no way of proving it. Like, you could take a screenshot or you could type in the comments what word you see, but the people who can't see it are never going to believe you.
Now that's wild. If you saw the word, definitely drop it in the comments. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching, and learning with me. If you haven't already, do me the biggest favor and smash that like button for me. Hit that hype button, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.